Welcome to the Sub Hub podcast. I'm MK Sullivan.
And I'm Danny Moreno. And today we are going to give you an in-depth preview of the next Skyrace in the Merrill Skyrunner World Series, which is Skyrace des Matheysins. It is a jewel in the French Alps that a lot of people love and regularly go back to. And yeah, we would just love to preview that. But before we dive deep into that, just a couple minutes, MK, update on your poison oak.
Oof, man. We're like on day 5 now.
Day 5 countdown.
Day
Captain's
5
log. Day 5 poison oak.
I should be like writing this stuff down. Day 5, I found oatmeal baths, which are saving my life in the sense that I can at least sleep for like 4 to 5 hours at a time. But as of today, I feel like I've just been like punched in the face with a flu. My body is fighting this so hard. But I don't have to run right now, which is so cool. So I don't have to worry about sweating with the poison oak or like spreading it or anything. So I'm taking naps, which is something I never do. So that's probably a good thing. And just trying to like not, move around too much and sweat. It's like the main objective. Like Tim Tolson told me that he like did a photo shoot where he had to run around today, and he was like, I was dying, so much sweat on my poison oak. I was like, nope, nobody can make me do anything. I will not run. I will not bike. Hiking is a close maybe, but we're getting through it. I'm hoping that by like the end of the weekend, maybe the itch is gone. I mean, the sores are going to be here for like 2 or 3 weeks, but
yeah,
we're surviving.
We're surviving. Yeah, it's is an oatmeal bath like actual oatmeal?
So it's called colloidal oatmeal, which basically is just that it's ground up so thin that it's just a powder. So it's just oatmeal, and you put it in your bath water, and it's like the only thing I found that keeps me from itching for like 4 to 6 hours instead of like 30 minutes. Because I was using like hydrocortisone cream and stuff for a while, but that just like was not cutting it. So I've had several women message me from the race in the last couple of days, because I mean, mine showed up pretty much immediately. And now there's like, everybody's like, oh my God, the poison oak is here now. What do I do? And I'm like, don't worry, I've got a list of things that you need to go get at the grocery store.
Yeah. So if you want some poison oak, Mama MK's recipe, hit MK up in the DMs and she will help you out.
I'll try my hardest because I'm still over here struggling.
I love it.
How are you feeling?
In unison. Just do an oatmeal bath in unison with all the poison oak survivors. I'm doing good. Like I think I was still pretty sleepy up until yesterday, and then I got another like 10, 11 hours of sleep. And today I finally feel like I've crossed the line. Like I feel like I can finally like start doing stuff, which is nice. I also just got a massage, which I like to do after races when it fits into the budget too.
Yep.
And I feel like that really helped too, to kind of just like highlight if I was still tight, and I was actually okay. So yeah, now we switch gears to Zagama, and like honestly, talking to my coach, the fitness could only be gained so much because I only have really 3 weeks for new adaptation. And so the main focus is just like power hiking and running steep downhill in pretty much every run, even if it's just for like 3 minutes, and just waking those muscles up. So like the pounding and the hiking isn't a stretch, but yeah, doing good overall. Yeah.
I will say the biggest bummer about this poison oak is that I had a massage planned for Saturday and I can't get it.
No.
And like the next time my massage therapist can get me in is like the end of the month. I was like, please put me on the cancellation list. Like I'm actually not that sore, but I'm sure if he got in there, I probably am very sore.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No,
I was like, no, you can't touch my legs. I'll probably give you poison oak somehow. I don't even know if that's how this works, but
I forget. I think it's like the oils mostly, but who knows? You might have oil somewhere.
Yeah, I can't tell at this point anymore what's new and what's already been there.
I love it. Well, MK has made her decision about the golden ticket, but she will announce that soon. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Yeah. So if you're waiting to see, because many of us are very curious, don't worry, she won't leave us hanging for too long.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you guys will know probably sometime this weekend, but
yeah.
skyrunning.
Yeah. Change the subject. Sky running. All right. So Skyrace de Matheysins. This race just looks awesome. Overall, well, actually, let's do a couple admin stuff and then we'll dive into the course.
Yeah.
So first things first, the Skyrunner World Series. There's actually a Sky Camp happening in Montenegro. The camp runs from July 20th to July 26th. It's a 6-day all-inclusive camp, and mainly it's just focusing on sky running, like how to become a sky runner, or a better sky runner, but better at technical downhill skills, hiking, etc. But it's also just like a fun environment. Like there'll be different lessons and stuff, but it's also just, you know, running trails in a beautiful area. There will be some accommodations there that are roughly, it's in the highest town in the Balkans. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the Balkans.
The
I don't know how
Balkans.
you would say the name of it though. It's like Zablyak
It's
is the name of the town.
Zabaljak. Yeah. Don't know how to say that either.
It's the highest town in the Balkans.
Highest town. So that's pretty cool. It's roughly at 5,000 feet. You get a bunch of gifts from or swag from their sponsors. You'll get a cool t-shirt, etc. And just be with other people that want to be in the mountains doing cool stuff. There is a maximum of 30 participants. So if this is something that interests you, hurry on over to skytorun.com to go and register. And it costs 990 euros. So that's probably roughly 1,000 USD with like
Yeah.
boost.
And
But
if you
there's a
win,
giveaway. Yeah. Tell
if
them
you
about the
win.
giveaway.
Yeah, so there is a giveaway. And I think that we had a hard time finding like the end date for this. So we're kind of guessing on the end date. But if you go over to the Skyrunning Instagram page, you can win an entry to this camp by following Meryl EU, Deuter, Skyrunning, and Sky to Run on Instagram. You like the post that they put out, which we should maybe try to remember to link into the show notes. Tag a skyrunning friend in the comments and share to your stories for an extra chance to win. We're assuming that the giveaway ends on the 8th because the winner will be announced on May 9th. And flights and travel are not included in the giveaway, but you will get into the camp for free, which is nice.
Yeah.
And
accommodations will be taken care of.
Yeah, accommodations will be taken care of. And I feel like this should go without saying, but trail running experience is required to go to this camp. So
yes, if you're a newbie and just in this new trail space, maybe not the camp for you, but you know, maybe you've done it a little bit, seen different types of trails. We definitely recommend giving it a go. I honestly didn't know where this was. I
me
feel
either.
like I'm pretty good with geography, but for those that are wondering, if you like are in Italy and you're going around the Adriatic Sea and there's like Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, then just south of that is Montenegro. And then this city is like almost right on the border right there. So yeah, I've heard trail running over there is amazing. So it should be gorgeous, honestly.
And I feel like that's like a place you're not going to go otherwise. Like that's so
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, I would have never heard this place, but now it like has caught my interest. And considering it's July 20th through 26th, you know, maybe if you have the time from work, like extend your trip either, you know, going into August, you're already in Europe for some crazy races, or extend it before. There's just races the entire summer. So
Yeah.
you can definitely add it on to something. So yeah, there that is.
Go
All
sign up
right,
for the giveaway.
sign up for the giveaway. Skyrace de Matheysins. It will be live, which is really cool. They will, if you follow the Skyrunning social channel, so their Instagram and YouTube, you'll be able to find the live stream from there. And it starts on Sunday at 8:30 CET. So that's
Oh,
probably nighttime for us.
yeah, I'm looking it up right now. 8:30 CET is 11:30 p.m. for us the night before.
Okay. So
Um,
maybe you catch it when you wake up on Monday
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
But if
But
you're one of our European listeners, and we know we have those according to our stats, 8:30 a.m. for you on Sunday, which is great.
yeah. And this course is 25 kilometers with close to 2,000 meters of elevation. Not quite, it's like 1930 something. But lots of technical ascents, lots of rocky ascents. You're up high on alpine ridges for like the whole middle of this course. Danny and I were watching videos of it before we recorded, and there will likely be snow. It seems that there's pretty much always snow at the top of this course.
Yeah, it seems like there's always snow, and depending on the snowpack, like it can cover some of the technical aspects. But even when that's the case, you're kind of like boot packing, skimo hiking for a little bit, holding on to these ropes, heading up to the ridge line. But what's kind of nice is dependent on how cold or warm it is, the snow isn't post-holy. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like. It looks like the climb up can be a little bit harder, right? Because you're like digging into the snow, but the downhill looks like people can just fly if there's enough coverage. And then if it's the rocks are coming through, then you're kind of, making sure you're not sliding into those. But honestly, again, like MK said, our favorite part, or, as a fan, is once you come out of the snow, you have to imagine your legs are just dead, right? Like the whole middle section is snow. And then you hit this wicked fast single track, which is still technical, but doesn't look nearly as technical as the rest of the course. And this is pretty common in European sky races, but you can cut the switchbacks. So people are just sending it down
Yeah.
these switchbacks.
And it's
And,
so muddy.
and it's
Like a lot
so
of times it's
muddy.
muddy. Yeah.
And they're just slipping out and jumping back up. So yeah, I think it's the type of race where if you're a sky runner and you're wanting to do well, having experience cutting terrain is a huge win. Like if you're sticking on the switchbacks, you're losing so much time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, 16 miles, little over 6,000 feet of gain. It looks like from the Strava profile that the first few kilometers are like actually pretty easygoing. They're not too steep. But then one about like 4 or 5 kilometers in, you get to this climb called the Devil's Garden.
Yeah, what a name.
And I don't know what kind of terrain we're working with here, but the Devil's Garden is a mile and a half with almost 1,300 feet of gain. So that's like just steep enough that I think people are probably going to run it still. Like it's 15.3% average. So not quite steep enough that you get to hike, but steep enough that it's going to hurt. I'm so curious though. I wish I knew what the terrain was there because the Devil's Garden makes it sound like it's also maybe a scramble.
Yeah, it makes me think it's that part with the ropes that we saw on all the YouTube videos. Um, just very technical, almost scrambling. And looking at the videos, it looks like people get out really hot, and I would guess because they want to get to there. Because MK and I were talking, we're like, how do you even pass there? Like, if you don't want to fall off the mountain, like I think you're just kind of stuck in the chimney, in whatever order you enter it in. But yeah, it looks pretty wild because looking at the course record men's winning Strava, his splits up to 5 miles are relatively fast, like 6:30 to 8:11 pace per mile. And then miles 6 through 8 just get slower and slower. So that's just like the technical running.
Yeah.
Like MK, what's cool about what MK said, what's cool about this course is it's almost literally half up, half down. Like once you get to
Yeah.
the top, you start going downhill. It's not like Calmaro. It's not like Canyons, Robbie Point. You are going downhill. So I think that's why people are just sending it because you have nothing to lose at that point.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're somebody who's like way stronger on a climb than a descent, then you might as well like get out as hard as you can and just like take this descent as it comes. Cause yeah, you climb up Devil's Garden and then you have a pretty technical, shorter downhill before you head up what's called the Wolves Ears, which is the technical part with fixed ropes and safety nets and all that stuff. And then you descend back down for a little bit, but not much. And then you finally get to the top at Col du Tabor, which is the highest point of the course. And this is when the videos were looking like something that I would never do because
You said you
you're
wanted to do this race. You changed your mind.
I changed my mind when I saw that middle of the course because it's like those Killian Jornet videos where he's got the like GoPro and it looks like he's gonna fall off on either
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Like that's what the top of this Col du Tabor looks like. And then yeah, you just like bomb down the hill. I'm sure it's fairly technical for like 2 or 3 kilometers, but then once you hit the single track, like Danny was saying, it's a lot of switchbacks and people are just like sending it straight down.
Yeah.
And then
Again,
apparently the last kilometer or so is like pretty flat and slightly downhill.
yeah. I mean, looking again, just because it's a point of reference, Sylvain Catchard, he has the current record from, I believe, yeah, 2022. His gap on that first technical descent was 4:39. I don't know if I've ever seen that, to be honest. Maybe I have. And then he's running, it's like 5:09, 5:09. And then he has 2 miles that are sub 5,
Yeah.
4:59, 4:36 mile. What?
And he loses 853 feet. So that's like, it must
Hi-
be pretty smooth running.
His gap is 4:18.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then his like last like mile point two was 5:20
Yeah, he
pace.
probably just hit a lactic wall and just
Yeah.
like surviving after those 2 miles. So, anyways, it looks like if you can run downhill, you can go really, really fast.
Yeah.
That's wild. The last thing to point out, besides the fact that yes, there's probably going to be snow, is that you do top out at roughly 7,600 feet of altitude. So it is kind of like you start at 3,000, you go to 76. That's a lot of gain in not just like feet in general, but like altitude.
Elevation. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who lives at altitude is probably at an advantage, which there's definitely someone in the field that lives at altitude, so we'll highlight him. But yeah, that's definitely an advantage.
Yeah. And just a reminder, we've talked about the U23 a little bit before Calamoro because that was the first U23 qualifying race. This is the second U23 qualifier in the series, and the Skyrunner series is doing this to kind of like keep younger athletes healthy and hope that they don't burn out at a young age. So these athletes only have to run 2 races to qualify for the Sky Masters final later this year. And all of the races that they've chosen for these qualifiers for U23 tend to be on the shorter side. So this race, on the men's side is one in 2:15 to 2:25, and on the women's is 2:40 to 3 hours. So shorter compared to like, the race in Canada that was like, I'm pretty sure over 5 hours for the women.
Yeah, it is a nice shorter race for those younger athletes. Another last thing, sorry folks, we had a lot of details in here before we get into the athletes themselves, is the race is on Sunday. It's not on Saturday. Just want to point that out one more time. And then the weather does have rain in the forecast in town, which is at 3,000 feet. So that probably means light snow at the
Up top, yeah.
Yeah.
And that video that Danny and I watched, maybe we should include this in the show notes as well. Like, seems like a stormy day, so it's very foggy up top when they're hiking up in the snow with the ropes, which makes it even headier, in my opinion. Like being up on the ridge and not being able to see what's below you. Oof.
It's awesome.
I've mostly gotten over my fear of heights, but I don't know that I'm that big of over it yet.
Well, at that point, you just stare at the butt in front of you.
Yeah.
No.
And try to breathe.
Yeah. Well, this race, honestly, the Spanish have really dominated the first couple races of the Skyrunner series. But as predicted, I think things will start shifting up because there's a lot more Italian and French heavy hitters coming in this time around. We'll start with the men's favorites. 3 very, very, very strong men. I would slot these 3 for the podium. What order they come in, I'm not too sure. I might give a little bit of leeway to Manuel just because he lives so high, but the 2 that he's going against. So Manuel Marias is the first favorite. He's from Spain and he is represented by New Balance now. Yeah,
Yep.
he switched over. A winner of Zagama last year, has won numerous Skyrunner races, ended up competing both in the Skyrunner and Golden Trail World Series finals. And I think he ended up top 3 or 4. Sorry, guys, we should have looked this up before. Do you remember?
I know that like Golden Trail didn't go that well for him, but last year he ended up 5th in the Skyrunner rankings at the
Okay,
end of the season. Yeah.
that makes sense.
He was still top 10 for Golden Trail, but I can't remember like quite where he was.
Yeah, I feel like it was a rough go too. Like he
Yeah.
went in ranked top 3 in both of them. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
A lot of racing. Next on the list is Frederick Trenchard, who won this race last year. He was pretty much like in the top 5 of any Skyrunner race that he's in. He's currently ranked second in the overall series this year. So probably has a pretty good chance of winning this race as well. Antonio Martinez, who, if you guys have not listened to our episode with him from last year, he was the overall winner of the Skyrunner series in 2023. He was second at Calamoro just a couple weeks ago, and he was third here last year.
Yeah, those are all incredible athletes. A couple other ones that we wanted to highlight. Shoma Otagiri, he is actually coming from Japan, which is really cool. He represents Merrill, which is also the title sponsor of the World Series. He was 5th at Schlagisch Skyrace last year. We also have Nadir Maguiet, I think. He's Italian. He placed second at Lavaredo 55K or 50K behind Francesco Pupi last year. He was second or third. I should fact check, but he's very a common person both in the Skyrunner and Golden Trail World Series. We also have Loic Robert from France, who represents Kiprun, second at Sky Masters 2022. And yeah, a couple other guys in the mix, but those are just a few of them that we wanted to highlight.
Yeah. I think Danielle Antonioli from Italy is also a good one to highlight just because he was 4th here last year.
Oh, yeah.
So he has the experience on the course, could also be somebody to kind of look out for. And then on the women's side, Iris Pesci, she was 4th at this race last year, but is coming off of a surgery. So I'll be curious to see, one, if she does race, and two, like how well it goes for her.
She's confirmed it so far on social media. That
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but we haven't seen her race yet this year. So this will be like the opener to her season, but she's always pretty consistently like, close to the podium in these races. Hillary Girardi, this is also her first race of the season. She won 2 of the Skyrunner races last year, but did not compete in the Sky Masters as far as I could tell. But she was on the podium here last year. So she knows this race pretty well. And then Lide Urastarazu, she is currently ranked 1st overall in the Skyrunner series because she raced both Acantilados and Calamoro. She was 3rd at Calamoro, top 5 at Acantilados. So if she can like have a lights out day here too, then she's like good to go for the Sky Masters.
Yeah. And she pretty much has one more race to do, I think.
Yeah.
4 or 5. And then our very own Bailey Kowalczyk coming over from the US. I think this is the beginning of her short European tour. I don't know how many races she has slotted. But 4th at Acantilados del Norte, and then after this she'll be going to Zagama. So it's cool. I think it's really cool that Bailey's heading over. I know she was a little disappointed with her 4th place at Acantilados. She thought it was an off day for her. So I'm excited to see what she can do. And she's used to running on snow, and she's been doing a lot of scrambling. So I feel like the Devil's Ridge ladder thing won't scare her one bit.
And she lives at altitude. So like that's a big plus for her as well.
Definitely. Yeah, her and Hillary have a lot of experience on snow because we can't forget Hillary has the FKT on Mont Blanc. Pretty freaking badass. So this shoot will feel like climbing a kid's ladder for her.
Yeah.
Then we have Callie McChrystal, Canadian, represented by Seal, was 3rd at Green Gay Skyrace last year. She also recently was in Kobe, placed 19th there. So definitely has a little bit of technical terrain under her belt. Obviously, very different races. So it'll be cool to see how she does here.
And then Nomi Vachon, who was 2nd at this race last year. We couldn't really find anything to confirm whether or not she was going on social media, but she is supposedly on this list. So that would be pretty good because she was 2nd last year to Clementine Joffrey, who went on to win the World Championships. So, I mean, if she's like racing, this is her first race and she's on, like very well could win this race. and Elise Poncet, who is a kind of frequent Golden Trail World Series athlete and occasionally does some sky running as well. She was second at the Naturns Sky Race at the beginning of the month, which looked to be the first race of her season so far. And Elise is always just like a solid pick. So
I think she might have done the French national championships too, but it's kind of unclear on her social media. So yeah, 2 races, like we said, on the men's side, Manuel, Marius Frederick, Thanchard, Antonio Martinez, and then don't count out Daniel Antoniolo. Sorry.
Antonioli, I think.
Yeah, good job. Those 4 just have a great track record. And then the women's side, it's hard to say. I mean, this is a really strong field with Iris, Hillary, Lide, Bailey, and Naomi and Elise. Yeah, that's actually more up in the air, honestly, like picking a podium for that. I guess to help the free trail fantasy folks out. You want to give
it a shot?
Yeah.
So on the men's side, I'm going to go Frederick, Manuel, Antonio. On the women's side, I'm going to go Nomi, Hillary, Bailey, I think. What about you?
Yeah, men's side, I'm gonna go with Manuel just because my gut's just leaning there, and then Frederick and Antonio and Danielle. Why do we keep saying Danielle? It's Daniel.
It's because it's your name.
Yeah. Daniel and maybe like Nadir in the top 5 because I think free trail might go top 5, and then women's. Oof. Has Hillary raced this year? Do you know?
No, I couldn't find anything. Like if she has, it's not like on a UTMB site or anything.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with. Wow, I don't know why this is so. I might go with Naomi too, because second last year to Clementi in that shape is pretty dang good. And
yeah.
Bailey and Hillary and Elise and Lide. Iris is really strong on this sort of stuff, but just coming off of surgery, I think maybe she's using this more of just kind of like getting back into it sort of thing. Yeah. So great fields. We do have also a couple U23 athletes. It looks roughly as if there is maybe like 15 of them, 20 of them.
Yeah, probably because there's some, if you like keep going down, there's probably like 15 of them.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. So yeah, that's Skyrace Matheysins. Did we already highlight the U23 stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Brain is still
we're still kind of struggling from canyons, so yeah, but I think this race will be exciting because the last 2 races have been like the up down kind of format, where this one is totally different. Like if you can get to the top in the lead and you are confident in your downhill legs, like totally different race than if you have to get down to the bottom and start climbing again.
Yeah, and also just watching some of those videos with the camera people also sending it on the downhill, it just like the footage is going to be insane. Whether you're watching the live or the post credits that they put on Skyrunner's Instagram and stuff like that, it's just going to be such a sick race to watch, especially if it's muddy too. There's for sure going to be some wipeouts. So yeah, that's the Skyrunner's next race. After this, there is another race in May called the Skyrace Desch Gorge du Tarn. So that'll be a cool one to watch. And then there's actually one more in May, which is actually in Mexico, which I'm really excited about, which is the Orizaba Sky Race, and that's on May 26th. So look out for more information on those as well as we start heading forward through Skyrunner.
That's gonna be like a big preview episode because I feel like we're gonna do probably both of those races at the same time plus Zagama.
Yeah, I feel like we should separate them maybe.
Yeah. But before we sign off, I wanted to just go through the rankings because we forgot to do that last time. So currently in the Skyrunner series, after 2 races, Acantilados del Norte and Calamoro, on the women's side, Lide is winning. In second place behind her is Nayara, then Julia Gomez, Sarah Alonso, and then Oihana Cortazar. That's your top 5 on the women's side currently. And on the men's side, after the 2 races, is Roberto De Lorenzi, Frederick Tranchand, Alex Garcia Carrillo, Manuel Marias, and Antonio Martinez Perez.
Nice. That's cool. People could definitely move up, like gain some points like Lide and Antonio. So I'll be excited to see. Yeah, last kind of admin stuff. You can still subscribe to the SubHub headlines. You can also check out that newsletter by clicking the link in our bio. And we would really appreciate some reviews, both like on Spotify and Apple. So if you're enjoying the pod, consider giving us 4 or 5 stars, probably 5 stars, right? Because you're enjoying it so much. But yeah, we would just love to see that too. It gives us feedback on how we're doing, etc. And then yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a lot more people viewing the videos versus who's actually subscribed. So if you want to get that ping right away, consider subscribing.
Yeah, especially now that we're like barely sticking to a weekly schedule. We're just all over the place.
Yeah.
So you'll know when we decide to.
Surprise, it's Tuesday. Surprise, it's Sunday. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this has been the SubHub podcast. Hope you enjoyed it.